Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. And we're back on Friday with our continuation of our From Rebellion to Resistance Star Wars retrospective. And there's this movie that came out last night that like is a movie?
Yeah.
Called like The Last Jedi or something? I don't know. But that's what we're here to talk about. And here's a little layout here.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a little spoiler-free overview of the movie. And then when we get into specific things, like things that we didn't like, which we call our gripes, and of course likes is self-explanatory, we're going to talk about what we felt were the most important scenes, and then what we feel are going to be the meme and parodies of this movie going forward.
Or at least some that we came up with.
Yes. So that is our structure. Let us check with the chat before we get into our overview.
So far we have Cal. I know he's only staying for the opening, though. He did like our opening as well.
We tried.
And Kimber and Megan and Kim Hanley are all here. So welcome, everyone. Yes. Thank you for being a part of our little stream tonight. I don't expect us to get a huge number of people because, you know, we're dealing with something that not everyone has seen.
Yes.
So...
And again, we'll be very clear when we get into the spoiler territory for anybody that's watching after the fact and doesn't want to get spoiled, because we very much believe in not spoiling things for people.
We're going to even have like a little thing down here talking about like, no spoilers, yo. So. And
also, if anybody joins the chat that hasn't seen the movie, let's try to keep it spoiler free in there as well, at least for this first part.
Yep.
You know, because we don't want to, you know, spoil things for anybody that might be watching.
Right.
So.
We don't want to be a spoiled roach in a shoe.
We don't want to be a spoiled roach in a shoe, no.
So, let's start with the spoiler-free part of our review, shall we? Is there anything for that?
I don't think there is.
So, overall, I really loved it. It's not perfect, right?
Okay, this is the only slide I have. We don't have to stay on there the whole time, though. Yeah, so technically the movie comes out today, but we got to see an advance screening in our town.
I mean, it's the new midnight showing. Is 7 p.m. the day before is the new midnight, which is weird, but I wish it was like this when we were in high school.
Yeah, that would have been so much better for like all the movies we wanted to go see, but, you know, neither here nor there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. It was a pretty decent theater experience.
We've had a few bad ones as of late.
And lots of people were cheering and laughing at the right moments. And, like, I know I felt like I was on the edge of my seat the whole time, just like, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Oh, my God, what's going to happen? So I definitely want to go see it again now that I know everything that happened, so I can just enjoy the experience.
Yep.
And plus, I always like to go see a Star Wars more than once.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
The tradition we have had since when the Force Awakens came out is we took our neighbors to go see it after they get back from their Christmas trip. So,
yeah, and I definitely have some coworkers that haven't gotten to see it yet that express interest in like, hey, let's all go together. And it was so not frustrating at work today because there's a lot of Star Wars fans on my campus. I am a teacher, for those of you that don't know. And they've been playing Star Wars music yesterday and today. So it's been really exciting, but not everybody got to see it yet. So you have to like find like the few people that did see it. Like, oh my God, what'd you think?
Yeah. I did that last night. I knew Nolan and Ryan had either seen it before us or along with us. Nolan Dean, I think 27 is the number at the end of his. He's a friend of ours on Twitter. You can find him. And Ryan at the Ohio Review, I messaged them like within an hour of us seeing it with like jokes and commentary, things I thought were fun, which we can talk about those in a little while.
Yes, indeed.
But all in all, I liked it a lot. It's not a perfect film. It's not mechanically as good as Empire, but it's really good to me. I had fun. The humor was well placed. all in all, I would put this like shoulder to shoulder with Jedi, but for different reasons. And Jedi is my favorite. Like Return of the Jedi is my favorite. So I would put this next to it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it a lot. Like I said earlier, just comparing it to like the other film in the sequel trilogy, I think I like The Force Awakens a little more, but like I thought this was pretty good as well. Just it's kind of like a slight hair above the other one, but like you said, I thought that, you know, when there were comedic moments, it didn't feel like it was a tonal shift where it's like, this is wholly inappropriate, like in the prequels. Like it felt very appropriate. There were only a few parts where it's like, do we really need to see this right now?
Yeah.
And thank you, Kat, for knocking things down.
We have cats.
But we'll get to some of those things in the gripes section.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But overall, it was very enjoyable. I like that they seem to like not do like a carbon copy of one of the other films.
Yeah.
I mean, there were maybe some elements that were similar, but it didn't feel like it was like beat for beat the same plot structure.
Correct. It didn't feel like how Force Awakens just kind of felt like they crammed 3 Star Wars films into one film. But they did. There were allusions and similarities, and we'll talk about those later. It's not important.
Mm-hmm.
What is important is us talking about the fun aspects without spoiling.
Mm-hmm.
All the characters we love are back for the most part.
Yeah.
With some characters we love from the older trilogies, except one character. But if you've seen The Force Awakens, you know what character that is. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. We get answers and we get porgs,
and a lot of other creatures.
Yeah, a lot of critters. More than the trailers, technically.
Yes, but definitely some little crystal foxes.
Yeah,
and some other fun things. The overall like plot of it, or rather, like, you know, things have intensified since the end of The Force Awakens with the First Order. And, you know, their huge demonstration has had a big impact on
across the galaxy.
And so that's kind of like the focal point of this movie is the dealing with this, you know, dealing with them. And
yeah,
there's a lot of different side.
There's like 3 to 4 plots going on at one point.
Yeah,
and it's a lot, but it's pretty good.
Which is typical of sequels, especially when you have characters that were working together, and it's like now we're going to break up into teams. You see that a lot. Like you're going to go do your thing, you do your thing, and then we'll get back together.
Yep. So, are we ready to move on to our spoilery section?
Yes.
You want to check in with the chat first?
Yeah, let's check in with the chat, and we'll make a lower third that says, "And here there be spoilers." Or something that's more clever than that.
Kimber wishes she had seen it with us.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Megan's going to keep her lips sealed, so not to spoil it for anyone else as well. We get it. Appreciate it. I
know Cal had a bad theater experience.
Yeah, and he said he thinks it may have soured him to the film. He's not sure if it's just the film
that
or the
can
experience.
Happen.
Yeah. Because that was kind of like our first Blade Runner 2049.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were like, yeah, it was fine. Like, we know we probably would like it, but our experience was so bad.
Yeah, that's why we saw it again.
Yeah, and we liked it a lot.
Yeah, a lot better.
So, just hope, Cal. Kim Hanley said she had a bunch of people asking about it, but didn't want to influence her opinion, so she's been trying to, like, say things without, like, she's dancing around the topic. Yeah. I
had a student ask me today, like, Miss Davis, would you be mad if I told you I never have seen the Star Wars? I'm like, no, I wouldn't be mad. And
Mr. Davis would.
And then we were talking in one of my classes about, you know, Star Wars. Like, for me, I know there are people that don't like it, so maybe it's not for everyone. But then one of my students was like, no, it is for everyone. I'm like, yeah, but you have to understand that there are going to be people that don't like it. And you know, we had like a little fun Star Wars-y conversation without spoilers, because there's a no spoilers rule in my classroom.
Yep.
Don't spoil things for people.
Kimber said she liked Force Awakens a little bit more. Cal said the porgs were great. Kimber effing loves the porgs. Cal is getting really upset at our pronunciation of Han. It's Han, Cal. Call. Kim Hanley thought that The Porgs they didn't bother her, but they felt slightly overused. I can see that. Kimber wants a movie called Porgs, and it would just be an hour and a half of daily Porg life. I think we got that. But no, then what we're going to have is like the Ewoks cartoon or something.
Oh, no. Do y'all remember the Ewoks cartoon?
We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
And the Droids cartoon.
That was
a separate one. If y'all don't remember it, look it up.
And Cal says it's upsetting because Star Wars is such a huge thing for him. We get it. I think if we had a bad experience last night at the theater, it would have really upset us as well.
Yeah, this would be a totally different tone.
We may not have been doing this today because we would have needed a day or something.
Yeah.
So from here, there be spoilers, and let me make my lower third real quick.
Awkward moments in the chat. Not really.
I should have done this earlier. What color do you want to use?
Use blue.
Blue? We can.
It looks like Tom has joined with a comment.
Hey, Tom. You and Kimber had already yourselves. Did you guys get like one of the same theater setups that we did when we went to see Wonder Woman when it was literally the four of us in the row?
I would have liked to have a row to ourselves. Like the guy that was sitting next to me, like he kept making like these frustrated gestures when anything happened, and it was so annoying. But like it wasn't enough to ruin the whole experience. But it's like, dude. Or he would like say occasionally he would say things. It's like nobody cares. Like,
Cal, the chat, I would say, should be like spoiler light.
Well, considering that everybody here has seen it, so
you know what? Who cares? Spoil away.
It's not like this part gets saved in the thing.
Let's talk Star Wars.
Not yet.
Everything about the new one.
All right, so some gripes that we had, and we usually do lots of pictures. We had to be very careful with this one because obviously it would have been really inappropriate in the theater. Let me pull my phone out and take a picture.
It would have been really bad.
We would have gotten kicked out. So these are the pictures that we could find that were the closest approximations to things in the movie that we could find, obviously. So things are not going to be perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
But we did the best that we could.
Yep.
So hopefully you guys will understand. All right, so this is kind of like a cut of two different things to represent gripe, especially that I know Joe and I had talked about. That really bothered you a little more than me. It bothers
me a lot, and it's not like it's enough that it upsets me about the film. But this film, like if we're talking about the first, or talking about Force Awakens being like a carbon copy for the most part, or like plot by plot point of like at least 2 or 3 Star Wars films. This one is like if you took half of Empire Strikes Back and played it in reverse, because it starts with Rey going to a desolate or some abandoned corner of BFE nowhere, the galaxy, and finding Luke to learn how to use the Force, while we have on the flip side the rebels being besieged by the Empire. I mean, yeah, it's the First Order and the Resistance, but it's the same difference. They're using the same kinds of ships and technology. And the them getting to all the way to the salt planet that looked like a snow planet at first view, to hold up in a wall while a bunch of AT-ATs marched on them from a distance. So it didn't end up the same way, but it felt literally like it was like half of Empire Strikes Back in reverse.
Well, and the other fact, because there are so many plot lines going on, it felt like the movie should have ended like several times. But then like you had the same thought I did, where it's like, well, they haven't gotten to that planet that looked kind of like a snow planet yet with the crystal foxes, so obviously it's not over. And just felt like it kept going and going, like where they could have maybe tightened up the story a bit.
Yeah.
By cutting some things. I don't know. Another gripe I had, I did not need to know the origin of the blue milk, guys.
Or at least this blue milk. We didn't need to see where it came from.
I did not like that at all. It totally creeped me out.
That's one thing Rogue One did better, where
It just had the blue
milk. It just
milk?
had the blue milk on a table.
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, look, remember Memba blue milk?
Yeah, Memba? Yeah, we didn't need to know. I did not want to know where the blue milk was from.
Thanks, The Last Jedi, for killing blue milk.
Yeah. A drink that you could get at the theater we were at.
We did.
And yeah, no more blue milk.
Nope.
Not enough Captain Phasma.
Yes. It was nice that she had something in this film other than just being jumped by Han and Finn and Chewie, but like it was like so wasted. She still didn't really have much going on.
But yeah, I would have liked to seen more of her.
I know that's a gripe Kimber has as well.
Yeah, I remember her saying that earlier. And then this kind of goes back to the thing that you were saying earlier about the plots feeling very similar with the Empire stuff, because, you know, like now she's meeting her eccentric master who is not always forthcoming with information. And I did like the relationship that they had. I thought it was interesting.
Her eccentric master that's not forthcoming with information that also is just like, I'm not going to teach you at first.
Yeah. You're too old. Or when she gets everything wrong. I love her description of what the Force is, and he's like, everything you said was wrong.
It's like powers that we have that lets us do stuff. What?
That's like it's like
that's not how the Force works.
Nobody knows how the Force works.
Laura Dern was incredibly underutilized. I liked her character.
Yeah, I didn't hate the character, but it just felt like
it
felt wrong, and like it didn't, like, I don't know.
It's the thing is, we're given two new characters that feel like they're a big deal in this one. Did you use the other one as a gripe as well?
No, I think he's in a different section.
Okay. So her and one of the other characters we'll talk about later, they're only in it for as an attachment to other characters' story. And it's upsetting because they feel like they're going to play a bigger part and then they just kind of vanish. With hers, she ends up dying in the end, and yeah, it's a noble sacrifice. I get it, but at the same time, like, that's all we're getting. Like, I'd imagine if we read the books that go between these films, we would learn more.
Yeah, for me, it would just felt like I love Laura Dern. She's a good actor, but she felt like she didn't fit, and maybe that was like a conscious choice, but I don't know. It felt like out of place.
Yeah,
it just like she was in a different movie, maybe.
Cal says it's just Diane after transforming from Naito. I get it. This is one of the many alternate dimensions created by Jowday. Oh. Okay, so Snoke was a big deal in The Force Awakens, and he was, I don't know.
Like I felt like we should have had more Snoke in this.
I'm fine with how it ended up.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with not really finding out anything more about him. But for him to be as big of a threat as he is, like, it was just over.
Yeah, and he didn't look super intimidating either. I mean, I know he's really powerful, but, like...
I'm ultimately fine with it. I just felt like... I don't know. There was just something off about the whole situation. But in general, I was okay with it. It was fine.
I'm glad he wasn't like 80 feet tall.
Yes.
That was good. It was a normal
Instead,
size.
he was like 7.
Yeah, it was a normal sized person. All right, so before we get to the likes,
let's check in with the chat. Scrolling back up. Cal is continuing the meme that Jar Jar is Snoke. Kimber and Kim Hanley, both the whole casino. They broke the whole casino. I both love and dislike strongly the casino because I'm a fan of them trying to inject anytime into Star Wars that there is something other than either elemental planet, space battlefield, or inside a starship. Because that's our three things. Those are our three big scenes for everything. Like a desolate elemental planet, either a swamp, a desert, salt, or snow. Oh, salt gets everywhere too.
Yeah.
It's just like sand.
Just like sand.
But it's never pulled off well. I think the casino was slightly better handled than like Coruscant was in the prequels. But as a whole, it should have been tightened up. There should have been more to it that worked. It just didn't.
All right, what else they saying?
Tom also says Casino was the worst, but that we need to see him fail. And Snoke being kind of no one, Cal, I think, has an issue with that. I can get that. I can personally see that.
I wonder if Tom is laughing at the blue milk thing.
I think he is. She thinks Kimber thinks Snoke was fine, looked great. Andy Serkis was awesome as always. Yeah, his delivery was intense. It's just there was something off about the way he was utilized. I don't know. That's me.
Yeah, his throne room was weird.
Still talking about Phasma, she fell into Westeros. Tom liked the bantha milk scene or the blue milk scene because it made Rey so uncomfortable when she caught eye of the creature. Yeah. That was fine. Like when she looked back at Rey and like you almost see like the creature's like, I'm fine with this, and Rey's like, I'm not
fine with this.
I think part of my discomfort might be Rey's projection of the discomfort, and I'm just like, nope, I'm with her.
No, I mean, I didn't want to see blue milk coming out of the monster's teat. Not a monster, but a creature. I didn't need to see that.
Kim saying that Snoke being disposable felt like a waste of time spent to hype him up, but didn't bother me because of when shifts the antagonist role. Yeah, like. It felt like it was a weird hype up and he was a waste, and then it was fine what happened afterwards. I know that my discomfort with what happened to Snoke was mild. It was just more like, I don't know. I really can't even articulate why Snoke bothered me, but he just kind of did. Kimber didn't like the blue milk scene because we already got enough animals in this movie.
Yeah, there were so many.
4.
There's so many animals. And I love animals, but so many.
Wow, there's some more that's piled up. Looked more about him. Empire was just thrown off the Empire of the Emperor was just thrown off the bridge. Yeah, but like he got to like. There was the fight beforehand, and there was like weight to it.
Yeah, he was just like monologuing.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that scene more later.
It was fine.
Yeah,
but it was just we got to find something to gripe about.
Yeah.
The Naito thing, awesome way to go though. Fair, it was a pretty cool way.
Yeah, she kind of redeemed her character arc in the end, definitely.
I think there's more to Snoke than the Empire in Return. Yeah, I can agree to that. I'd imagine it's probably somewhere in one of the books, information about him somewhere. Unpopular opinion, no problem with Snoke. Gripes. Here's Kimber's gripes. Shirtless Kylo just to show the scar. That scene was great though, even if we didn't need him. Not casting Finn
Wolfhard.
Yeah, as young Kylo, I can see that. Tom agrees with that, of course. Randall's joined us. Nice. Hey, Randall. Discussing this on PlayStation chat as well. Nice. Can't wait till Disney starts selling blue milk.
Oh, God.
It's kind of disappointing in Snoke, but it was satisfying to see. I think that's ultimately where I land, is like, Snoke was like, but it was good. It was fine.
All right, so we're going to move on to our likes, which is, we had a lot of things to like about this movie.
We did.
We enjoyed it overall.
Oh, so much.
I really love this scene of, and this might be the wrong picture again, if you're just joining us. We did the best we could to find the correct pictures of General Hux getting trolled by Poe. We have a message for General Hux. Yes, I'm waiting for General Hux. Can he hear me? He can hear you.
Every time.
He just doesn't get it.
He keeps monologuing and threatening and posturing. He's just like, the First Order will crush your pathetic resistance and blah, blah, blah. And then he pauses to wait for a response.
Yes, I'm waiting for General Hux. H-U-X Hux. And then he describes him in a really negative way. It's so awesome. And then one of the communication officers like, I think he's toying with you. Yeah, the perfect stalling tactic. I just thought that was hilarious. It also felt very appropriate for the characters.
Yes, because, I mean, the first thing we hear Poe say when faced with actual danger is like, okay, sir, you going to talk first? Am I gonna talk
he's
first?
Very sarcastic. Hello, kitty.
Need to get out of our workspace. Cats. Anywho, yeah.
So
yeah, tooling with you or fooling
tooling with you, something along those lines. Not trolling. Obviously, they don't probably have that yet. I really loved Finn and Rose.
Yeah, they were precious together.
I thought she was a great character.
I actually kind of thought Rose was the first one on the bomber.
But that was obviously her sister.
But they set it up for it, and I'm like, okay, that works.
Yeah, she was really fun. I loved how she idolized, and she was like going on and on, like, "Oh my gosh, you're Finn!" Da-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, I'm no hero, and then she's like, "What are you doing?" "Oh yeah, I'm just checking out this escape pod with a bag packed," and then like just her like disheartened moment that your heroes can let you down,
and then just tasers them.
Yes, and drags them off. It's one of the great moments, but they had a lot of good chemistry together. I loved seeing their little arc where they're going to figure out how to disable the tracking at the light speed.
Yeah. A real quick jump to the commentary because they're talking about stuff as we go.
Yes.
Gareth Edwards was in it. I don't know where he was. I don't even know who Gareth Edwards is.
He's the director of The Raid, I think.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I think, maybe.
So
I could be wrong.
Donald Gleason has such a great look for a Star Wars villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's that. Yeah, he really embodies like the Imperial officer look. That stoic, angry face and everything. Yeah, Tom's with me, kind of like, oh, is that supposed to be Rose? How is she going to get out of this predicament?
Yeah.
Kimber loves Rose. She ships it.
Yeah, especially when when she rescues him and then she kisses him.
Yep. Tom refers to this as Rose's story. Finn is just her Han. I get it.
I could see that, yeah.
I get it.
He still got the cool jacket?
He does. Poe's old jacket.
All right, let's look at our next like. All right, so Benicio del Toro plays this, like,
he's
code breaker, but definitely someone that is supposed to be, trying to think of the right word, like pretty much a scoundrel.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're expecting typical Star Wars things to happen, like the scoundrel character ends up being like a likable person and saving people in the end, but this character is definitely not like that. And I liked how that subverted the trope of he's going to sell them out, he's not going to come rescue them at the end, he's going to make a deal for himself.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that their mission failed, because sometimes we don't see that in narrative film where, like, oh, the good guys always have to, like, have everything go perfectly, even when there's setbacks. Eventually, some kind of moment of Deus Ex Machina happens and they get the job done.
Yep.
And it didn't happen. Totally sold them out and then made it even worse.
He did. I also like that up until the very end, they make you think, oh, he's not that bad a guy, because the one thing he wanted for Collateral was Rose's amulet.
Yeah.
And then he just gives it back to her.
Yeah, because they kind of set that up first, like, oh, he's not so bad, and then later he sells them out. Yeah. And I also thought he had, like, an interesting, like, little ticker, stutter.
His weird little stutter thing, where he stuttered on, like, TH sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Kimber really likes Leia using the Force to save herself. Same.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting in the movie that, like, oh, like, this is like maybe like a moment where they could out because of Carrie Fisher passing away, but no, like, she's so, like, powerful with the Force that she could save herself. I thought that was pretty cool.
She's technically just as powerful. I mean, she is just as powerful as Luke. The difference is Luke's trained. Yeah. So the fact that she can pull all that crap off with no actual formal training is even scarier and more impressive. Mm-hmm. She is probably more powerful than Luke. Couple other ones here that apparently Cal ships Rey and Finn. They're like brother and sister, man.
Yeah.
Tom is bringing up one of our favorite quotes: "Failure is the best teacher."
Mm-hmm, I like that a lot.
Leia using the Force to save herself. Did anything ever. Same. Poe and Rey, maybe. I think kind of set that up in the end, I think.
Especially then, like, hi, I'm Poe. Oh, I'm Rey. I know who you are.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but it's one of those things where, like, we're at the end of that film and they introduce themselves to each other. I'm like, oh yeah, they didn't meet yet, did they?
They don't know each other very well.
Kim said, I hated the spacewalk, felt completely out of place, even for space wizards. I mean, if you've watched some of the animated stuff, they can do crap like that. It did feel a little out of place, but it was still awesome. And rule of cool always wins for me.
Shall we go to our next like?
Both Tom and Kimber are down for the they don't want Ray to have a romance. I'm down with that as well. Though Tom feels that if anyone is to hook, form a bond with Ray, it should be Kylo, and I'm like, maybe.
All right, for our next I really enjoyed that Luke went back to the Millennium Falcon, and he found like the little dice, and just him kind of reconnecting with his past and his memories, and I thought that was a really cool scene.
It really had heart, and that's important for these films, especially because we're dealing with characters that we've loved for so long, coming back, doing cool things. So showing that there's a connection and that some of these characters have the same kinds of emotions we do just for this series in general was really nice.
Of course, the little porgs.
Hashtag Porg Nation.
I love them so much. They're so adorable.
The face that one of them had when Chewbacca was trying to eat one of them.
Yes,
it looked horrified.
Yes, and they looked like little roast little chickens, and it's like, oh man, like, no, don't eat them, and they're like all horrified. And then when they were like nesting in
they're just everywhere.
The Falcon, it was like, oh, they're so cute.
What is it with Chewbacca and just like having a soft spot for little creatures? Because he loved the Ewoks too.
Mm-hmm. He's got a good heart, and then he felt bad, but it's like, but you already cooked it, like.
Don't let it go to waste.
I know, right? Like, that's horrible. Poor Chewbacca. But yeah, the porgs, they did not bother me at all. I thought they were precious.
I'm glad they weren't a major plot point, though.
No.
Like, I felt if they were a big deal, like if they made themselves a major plot point in the film, like they were the source of the Force or some crap like that, or they were the key to saving everything, then that would have just been, like, so terrible.
Yeah, like midichlorians or something.
Yeah, that kind of crap.
All right, before we move on to our next let's check back in with our chat because it's, really popping tonight.
Likes Luke and R2. That was so warm. When R2 just booted back up when Luke was on the ship.
That was awesome.
That was so sweet. The iron shot. I don't know what he's talking about.
Oh, when the iron's coming down, you think it's like a spaceship, and it's like they're ironing all the
uniforms. Oh, right.
On the cruiser or whatever.
Right, when they're doing the great. That was really good.
Yeah, I'm like, that's a weird looking ship. It looks like an iron. Oh, it's actually an iron.
I liked that the feet on the porgs, the way they moved, you could tell a lot of them were actually like animatronic. Mm-hmm. Chew's just trying to have a nice meal. Hey, you don't want to see people eating other people.
I know, so sad. Like, they're eating our friend.
Tom with calling it the sad chubby porg. Yeah. I love this shot even more in context. It was like Chewie's co-pilot when he let out a battle cry. Oh, it was no lie. Like, I think that's the thing is like the whole reason Chewie even felt bad is he realized those things were like semi-sentient.
Yes.
Because that porg's eyes were like, I know what you're doing.
Uh-huh.
Why are you eating my cousin?
Exactly. That was our leader.
Who's
gonna read all the Christmas stories now?
Cal's bringing up the little Leia message flashback when Luke's because Luke's like, I'm not gonna. What help would I be? I couldn't be any help. And then, without missing a beat, R2's like, help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Yeah, and he's like, that's a cheap move.
That's a low blow.
Yeah, cheap move. And yeah, R2-D2 is very manipulative. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then also,
Randall's pointing out that he loved that they nested on the Falcon, saying the porgs.
Oh, and then when R2 is doing like all those little chirps, he's like, watch your language.
Oh, I love R2.
I like to think that R2 has got like a sailor's mouth.
Yeah. And I also feel that, like, that's the thing that I've talked about it before with superhero films. What I love about these films is the interactions with the characters. At the end of the day, you can have any movie about, like, starships shooting lasers at other starships with laser swords and magic, whatever. But what makes Star Wars so special is the characters. And when you care about the characters, you really care about them interacting with each other and everything else. And Luke interacting with R2 felt so much like the first time I can remember watching A New Hope. It touched me in my heart, my little heart of hearts.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be like Alita Battle Angel and hand you my heart.
Oh, Lord. Not even get into that. I like that we got to see like different parts of the galaxy and just the opulence of the casino scene, just to see that these people were profiting off of the labor and like backs of other people. And I liked that part of the movie. Maybe not like everything worked in the casino scene, but to see I
liked it in theory, but not necessarily in practice.
Yeah, I liked seeing the dresses and other costumes, like just the utter snobbery of the people that lived in this area. And then like you get to see like the poor little children that are like basically like having to live in the stable with the little animals.
Yep.
And I thought that was an interesting contrast to show that not everybody in the galaxy is a nice person, like people like Rey and like Leia and all of them.
Yep.
Tib. These sassy people,
the
denizens,
the caretakers of the island,
and they just hated Rey so much because she kept breaking everything.
Oh, so much.
I love them, and the fact that they, look like it's a practical effect as well.
Yep.
It doesn't look like a CGI garbage monster.
Yep, and they look different. You can tell they're the same species, but they look different.
Yes.
That's really nice too. Not like the Bith musicians of that particular band that I'm not going to repeat their name on the air.
Oh, the Whalers.
The Whalers.
The little Whalers.
So before we move on real quick, we've done a few things without checking the chat. The Leia message callback made Kimber cry, foreshadowing to Luke's Act 3. True. Comparing Luke to Ben in the message. Yeah, it's also really true. There's a lot of shadows of like Luke taking on the role of both Kenobi and Yoda in this film. Speaking of callbacks, it worked, but Kim doesn't really think we needed Yoda. I can see it. I liked it too much to really care.
Yeah,
we didn't need it, but there's a lot of stuff in this film we didn't need that I still think worked. More likes Kylo didn't shoot at Leia. Yeah.
I liked that because definitely the trailer makes you think that that's what's going to happen, and he just couldn't do it. Like, he really hated his dad, but obviously he cares about his mom.
Yeah. And it showed that he's not all the way there.
Yeah, he's conflicted. Like, I like how they say that there's conflict in you.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was a really interesting word choice that they had.
Down for Yoda. Kimber was down for Yoda as soon as she realized he was a puppet.
And not Diet Yoda.
Yeah, not Diet Yoda. Gross. Cal is insisting that it was a live actor, and we need to get that straight. It's fair. Waiting for Tony Stark to be among the casino warmongers. I can see that, Tom. If they had Robert Downey Jr. playing the actual hacker that they were going, or the slicer they were going after, the code breaker,
would have been great.
That would have been a funny little pull that also would have been terrible. Yes. Like, it would have been like, oh, I see what they did there. Can we not?
Stark Industries is supplying the Empire with all the other technology.
It looked very much like the very original trilogy Puppet Yoda, and it was fantastic. I agree. It was kooky. Like Tom is saying, it was very kooky too. All right, so
this whole battle on
I think it's Crate is the name of the planet.
The salt planet.
Oh my god, so much salt.
I liked all of the color imagery with like the rust coming out of the old
Well, it's not just that. The salt crystals that the entire planet is built on is red, and it's just got the white salt on top of it.
Yeah, so I thought like that was really cool, and then like the whole sequence of like when Luke shows up and it's like fire all of the weapons.
That's the other one I wanted to make.
Yeah, all the weapons
on him. So this is what I would call the point where I'm like, I don't know what's saltier, that whole planet or Kylo Ren. One stabby boy.
Yeah.
Because he just no. He's like blast him into
oblivion.
Yep. Tom wants to know who else thought Finn was going to die. This guy.
Yeah, me.
I thought they were going to do the noble sacrifice thing, and I was like,
no. I was on the. Oh man, my heart was pounding.
This was my face. That whole scene, I was just like, no, no, no.
Why would you reference that?
Because it's Star Wars.
But yeah, that whole sequence, even though the movie felt like it was running a little long at this point, it was like awesome. It was so awesome.
It was.
All right.
So we're at most important now.
Yeah. And of course there's other things that we liked, but you know, like we literally like came home from the movie, it was time to go to bed. I'm the one that makes the PowerPoints, and I was at work all day doing work things. So, you know, I rushed this together right when I got home. So,
yep.
You know, if it, you know, there's other things we like. Y'all are mentioning some really good things
Stuff
as well.
that we forgot to mention because we're focusing on other things that we really liked.
Yes, and then of course some of the things that we also liked are in the most important segments.
Yes.
So. And we like to, and it, you know, it's really hard to think of like what are the most important things on a movie we've only seen once. And we didn't take notes when we were watching the movie. We were just there to enjoy the experience. So, you know, this is not the, like, you know, we don't have all of the time to reflect and watch the movie like a ton of times to think of things. But I think that we picked some pretty important moments.
I hope so. Kim was totally down with Finn dying. Like, yeah, I feel like the way she's putting it is like she thought he was going to, and she was okay with it.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. I felt like it would have been more impactful if it was Poe that was deciding to make the sacrifice, telling everyone else to go back.
But we did get to see that he learned from his earlier mistake, where it's like, no, we have to pull back to survive. So that was a good arc for him.
Yep. So yeah, lots of fun chat here. So now we go to most important.
So this is more of like a most important sequence than the exact moments. So in the confrontation between Snoke and Rey, that also involves Kylo Ren, and I really love the moment of like Snoke monologuing and talking about like he sees what's in Ren's heart, and the fact that like he's the one that brought them together.
Yep.
With the whole like the Force, you know, being kind of like the FaceTime.
Yeah.
Of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about that in a little while.
Kim's bringing up that their team up fight was amazing. And using each other's lightsabers, what Tom is saying, that whole fight was amazing.
Yes, and then I loved when Snoke was talking about, I see you doing these things, and thinking, like Snoke's thinking that he's going to kill Rey, but the dramatic irony of Kylo, you know, using Rey's lightsaber to like, you know, to ignite it. It goes right through him, and then to bring it forward to cut him in half.
Yep.
Like that was pretty awesome. And I was so nervous during this scene. Like, oh my God, what is going to happen? And then so excited to see them working together. And they like kill all the guards, and then like this whole dilemma of like, what should we do now? And then you think maybe there's some light in Kylo, but then he immediately is like, I can rule the galaxy now, and won't you join me?
Yeah, let's work together and all that jazz.
And you can see that she's like, maybe she's kind of considering it for a second.
For me, it looks like she had so much hope, and it's just like she doesn't know how to respond.
Yeah.
Because she's like, okay, he helped me take down Snoke, and now maybe there's a chance we can stop the First Order together. And he's like, yeah, we can. Let's stop all of them.
Yeah, let's
burn
kill
everything
everybody.
Down to the
Let the whole resistance die. Let everybody die. And then
we'll build this new world and all this other stuff. And she's like, yeah, it's a bit much, man.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Bye.
So Kim brings up a good point that wondering if the guards were the students that Kylo Ren took with him.
Thought that
the
too.
Other Knights of Ren, I guess.
Thought that, yeah.
Maybe they'll play a role in 9 then. Now with Kylo in charge, it's fair. Take him off the bench or whatever.
Yeah, but I love how he lied to Hux about what happened. Like, oh yeah, Rey killed Snoke.
The girl killed him.
Yeah, the girl killed him.
Of course you're gonna lie.
Yeah.
I also love how like referring to the other planet again, how salty Hux was the entire time after that. He's like, hey, what makes you think you can take over? And Ren's like, what are you going to do to stop me?
Yeah. Yo.
I'm going to force choke you if you try to stop me.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Before we talk about Yoda, let's check in with the chat.
Yeah. Tom thinks that maybe Ren was willing to leave it all behind, not rule. He doesn't even think about it until Hux brings it up. But before Hux even brings it up, he talks about like building a new world order with Rey by his side. We can rule together. I don't think he necessarily means the First Order, but I also think originally he was talking about the First Order being one of the various things that he burned to the ground. The Jedi, the Sith, the Republic, the Resistance, the First Order, everything just gone and starting over from scratch. And that's a lot of dead people.
True. All right, and of course...
Yoda coming back. Little Force Ghost Yoda.
And it's not so much that he comes back that's important. It's the things that he has to say that are important. Like the fact that, failure can, is our greatest teacher. And when Luke was was contemplating and then hesitating to burn down the great tree.
And Yoda's just like, okay, zap.
Yeah, he just does it because Luke doesn't have Yoda's always having to clean up Luke's mess. And so this is a perfect example of that happening again. And it's like, oh, what, those books?
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, page turners were they? It's like, no, we don't need that. And the fact that, and even Luke brings it up earlier, the fact that the Force is the thing that binds us all together. It shouldn't just be for like a certain religious aspect of these people that train. It's for everybody. It's everywhere. So
Kimber brings up a good point that I don't think is in either of our most important moments, so we should talk about it for a second.
Of course.
Related to the last most important. That she's slightly disappointed at the origin of Rey's parents, but it's better than them being twins or something along those lines. The only other thing I would have accepted is somehow she's a Kenobi, but I'm also glad they didn't go that route.
Yeah, that didn't bother me at all. The fact that her parents, and in fact, it made me feel really bad for her because it's like they just sold her so that they could go partying.
Yeah.
Like her parents were horrible people, and so she's, having to like look at all the great things that she's done to overcome like being abandoned.
Yeah. Cal brings up a good point is like, do you think it was a misdirect? Do you think Ren or the dark side or whatever was lying to her about the origin? I don't think so. I think it's probably true. I think it was handled in a bad way though, where it's just like he just blurts it out.
Well, I think he's doing that as a manipulation tactic too, because he is a very manipulative person.
We talked about this last night, too. He's trying to manipulate her in the way that he knows would work on him.
And so by saying, I know you're not special, but I think you're very special.
You're more than your origin. You're more than who your parents were. I think it would have been better if she found a way to track her parents down and then found all that crap out from them. I think it would have been more impactful. To us as the viewer.
And in a different movie, because there was already 80 plots in this.
There were.
But yeah, Yoda coming back, the fact that it was a practical Yoda, and then the purpose he served. Because, Force Ghosts, of course, they're going to come back. They're not gone forever. So I thought that was pretty important, the message that he had to say to Luke.
Tom brings up, well, who is that kid's from the Inn's parents? The Force isn't just manifesting in bloodlines. The Force manifests in anyone. Just because bloodlines can often carry the Force through them doesn't mean that off people won't. For lack of a better term, it's like in Harry Potter, like you have wizarding bloodlines, and then you sometimes have people that don't have wizarding parents manifest the ability to use magic. That's what Hermione is.
In the Jedi code that they're not supposed to get married, so wouldn't the bloodline thing be kind of a moot point?
Well, the Jedi weren't the only Force users in the galaxy.
Yeah.
But yeah, to that end, it's true. They aren't supposed to have attachments, and they aren't supposed to like have families and things like that. No, Kimber, never talk about that word again. Like mitochondria, I'm fine with, but not midichlorians. Dang it, you said it.
All right. So now we're going into our last segment. The things that we think are going to be potentially memed or parodied in the future.
And this is mostly from us.
Yes.
Like, we started memeing things almost immediately as soon as we walked out.
But I think that these kinds of things could catch on because I think they just have a lot of potential. The fact that the FaceTiming aspect of the Force between Kylo Ren and Rey, I think that they will definitely do some kind of parody of this on maybe an SNL or other sketch show.
Like a You Got Mail parody? A
College Humor. No, I think it's going to go bluer than that.
Well, you see what I'm saying, though? Like, where like they can play it up like some sort of dark... SNL, they could do that, but the bluer, totally College Humor.
Yeah, I'm thinking more like, that scene where he didn't have a shirt on, escalating it. Because they could actually like touch each other in this like Force sharing, so I think there's gonna be going to some different places.
Oh yeah. God! I just had this realization. Snoke was connecting them. Oh, he was seeing all this. Oh.
So yeah, I think it's gonna go. There'll be like memes of this, and then like there could be some gross parodies of what you could do with your Force connection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now I'm thinking of Demolition Man.
Yeah, Demolition. Yeah, Demolition Man. Yes.
Totally. What else we got?
I think the whole Hux getting trolled by Poe. I think that'll probably be memed a lot.
Well, I mean, that's basically like if Star Wars memed crank yankers.
Yeah, I just think that'll be like everywhere because it's really funny.
It is really good. There was a period of time where the "Are you going to talk or am I going to talk?" was utilized a bunch, and everybody loves Sassy Poe.
And then this one, I said when we were leaving the theater, and you thought it was so hilarious.
I'm a huge Bob's Burgers fan, and there is one of the episodes where two of the characters get into an argument, and Gene is just like, when you reconnect in your 30s, I bet you get married. And that's what you said as soon as we were leaving the theater.
Because it just feels like that's where it's the direction is trying to lead you down, like, oh, like these two, because they're so different, like a moonlighting thing, that will they, won't they, people that hate each other always end up together. So
Tom with the whole Force thing, bringing up ghosts, they make pottery.
Yes.
And then Kimber loves the Hux face plant that Snoke just drops Hux from the beginning of the film from another ship.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing. Not saying that we necessarily want Rey to end up with someone.
We're not saying that we ship this, but I think the movie is like leading you down that path.
They at least make you want to think.
If you want to ship this, you can, but...
Yep. I mean, in the expanded universe, Luke married the woman that tried to kill him. And then they had babies. Weird little Force-using babies.
I mean, yeah, Kylo Ren's a pretty terrible person. I don't think he would be like a good boyfriend or husband.
No. He's kind of abusive.
Yeah, so that's probably not what should happen, but I just thought it was funny that it just feels like, especially like in the movie that this is from, The Force Awakens, where like, oh, I see you're awake. You're my guest, and like that kind of like nonsense that goes on.
Right.
It feels like
it sounds like he's creepily smiling under.
Like it's like you never met a girl before. He's excited.
There's one of the other ones that I had that I didn't get to make a thing of, but when Kylo Ren told Hux and the rest of the First Order to fire on Luke, my thought went to use all the lasers, but my mind immediately went to Parks and Recreation when you have what's his face, Ron Swanson being like, "Bring me all the eggs and bacon." Mm-hmm. Hold on a moment. I just want to make sure you heard me correct. You may have thought I said a lot of eggs and bacon. I meant all the eggs and bacon. So, yeah. Totally.
But yeah, that's just something that I found funny. What are they saying in the chat?
Let's see. My only gripe, this is Kim, with the not special, is the justification that she kind of rolled out of bed with Force abilities. And I can see that, but I think it's supposed to be the mentality that, like, that's kind of what happened to Anakin. Like he was using the Force before he knew he was using the Force, before he even knew what that was. Now Cal wants Emma Watson in as in her using Hermione's tone for episode 9. It's Han, not Han. And Tom brought up like, why would you want just more? You want all the pretty British women in there, and then he blamed me because I brought up Harry Potter, and that's just where his mind went. Kim brought up the face plant. It's always my fault. Cal's bringing up, and thank you, Cal. We're terrible at this kind of stuff. To like and subscribe if you're not already.
Yeah, we always forget that.
Where's the other? So what you're saying, Tom, with your comment of movie 3, Alien Menace forces the First Order and the Resistance to work together, bringing Kylo and Rey together and closer, being to true balance in the Force. So what you're saying is you want the Yuzon Vong to show up and be like, lulz, you can't use the Force on us. Because that's kind of what that happens. The Empire and the Republic are like, all right, I guess we can't hate each other anymore. Kim is saying she's not sure. She's not saying she ships this, but she's wearing brown shorts right now. Brown shorts right now, yeah. Kimber, also attractive enough for someone half of female friends are all about it. It's weird. Adam Driver is an unconventionally handsome dude. Like, he's not terrible, but he's definitely not what you would consider classically handsome.
Yeah, he's an interesting looking fellow.
He looks better here than he did in Logan Lucky. It's probably because of the facial hair in Logan Lucky.
Yeah, and the fact that he has both of his arms.
Oh, yeah. But I did. I got your reference, Tom. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
My favorite thing is, like on Twitter, the emo Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that is a really fun account. If you're not following it, you should.
I really want to make like a bunch of fan videos of like Kylo Ren and Rey to like all of like the Death Cab for Cutie songs and all the emo songs, because like
from the 90s
as a joke, not like for a serious ship, but like how they always have those like shipping videos of like everybody's like all the out of context scenes and make it look like they have like a relationship. So I think that would be hilarious.
It would. Yeah, Josh, as you're joining us, we are in spoiler territory. So if you want to, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you might want to back out for now because we are talking some spoilery stuff. Yeah, mostly that. And Tom's happy I got his reference. Yeah. But yeah, thank you for joining us, Josh. If you have seen the movie, are you asking us to rate it out of 10? I'm not sure what your comment is saying, because I wasn't sure if we were going to do that.
Yeah, we haven't been doing that with like these Star Wars reviews.
At the moment, he likes. Wow. Okay, Cal. Yeah, that must have been a really, really bad experience.
Cal, are you okay? Did someone hurt you?
I get, he explained his theater experience. It was really bad.
No, but when we were in our theater, somebody said they liked Rogue One better.
Yeah, that's weird.
It was like, what's wrong with you?
Josh, it's really good. It's not as good as, Empire. I would say it's shoulder to shoulder, at least for me, with Force Awakens and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I think it's a decent sequel. Because sometimes sequels are so horrible. I thought this was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
It's a bit messy, but it's fun. It is definitely not as well crafted movie as some of the other Star Wars films, but it is still it has a lot of heart. And yes. I think at the end of the day, that's what I want.
It runs a little long, and they could have probably tightened up the story a little bit.
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours.
There's definitely a lot of things going on, but I think I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I enjoyed it. I want to go see it again.
Yep. We may try this weekend, depending on schedules and such. No, not exactly. He's in it, but there's more to it than that. Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything for you, man, if you plan to go see it. But yeah,
if there's any other things that you want to know that we can answer, I mean,
we can. But we don't want
to ruin it for you.
Exciting. So, first cut was 3 hours. Holy cow!
Ooh.
If you're enjoying us, Josh, like and sub, and come check out our other stuff about Star Wars that we've been doing with our retrospective all week, and we're going to talk about other stuff tomorrow as well.
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to talk about Rogue One, because I need to rewatch it again because I fell asleep. Not because it was boring, because it's late at night.
Little of both.
We're going to talk about the holiday special, because why not?
Because it's a big, impactful event in Star Wars history.
We're going to talk a little bit about the Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion,
the tabletop RPGs in general.
Yeah, Force and Destiny, the Fantasy Flight RPGs.
Which we do have a lot of fun. We have a fun story involving the Force and Destiny Fantasy Flight RPG. Mm-hmm. Where we got to meet someone relevant to that series.
So yeah, we'll be talking about that, and then some of the cartoons. So yeah, tomorrow's kind of like a mishmash of things. We're not going to talk about every spin-off and parody because we just don't have enough time to do that. So we're just going to kind of focus in on a couple of things because, you know, maybe later then another Star Wars movie comes out, we could talk about more things. So,
I mean, what do we have next year? The Han Solo movie?
Is that really still coming out? They're still making that?
I think so.
Oh God!
Why? I don't have a lot of confidence. Like, we'll go see it.
Yeah, we'll go see it. But
Disney knows we'll go see it. Like, they even like 85% of people that are complaining about the Han Solo movie are going to go see it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe over exaggerating.
But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Let's finish up with a chat so we can wrap this up.
I don't know if he was a Sith, man. They don't answer anything. He says he saw it. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Like that's my thing. Like I kind of wish we would have had more of an inkling on who Snoke was.
Yeah.
It would have been nice. My theory going into it was he was a clone of the Emperor.
I mean, he was pretty messed up looking.
Clones can be messed up looking.
Yeah.
That maybe he was like in a cryo tank somewhere on the Death Star that drifted in space forever. So that was my theory because as we got to see him close up, he kind of had some similar features around the eyes, and his line delivery felt very Emperor-ish with all the deformities. But yeah. Let's see. You don't have to be a Sith to have dark side power. You don't have to be a Jedi to have light side powers. It's true. It's just that's the Force. Ma is a Force Force sensitive. She's supposed to be very Force sensitive, but she's not either. And the tabletop RPGs, which we'll discuss tomorrow, there's the Wizards of the Coast Star Wars one has all sorts of Jedi or Force using traditions that aren't the Jedi, including my personal favorite, the Jensari. Yeah, just another dude, basically. Yeah, you got any other commentary before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're pretty much done. If you liked hearing from us, of course, like this video, subscribe to our channel where we'll talk more about Star Wars things tomorrow.
And this entire month of the rest of December into mid-January, I will be performing a little event I like to call Streamsmas, where I'm going to be streaming video games every day. I started with some Fallout, got slaughtered by a Deathclaw, so I left Fallout. Started Final Fantasy 15 because Persona is a jerk. And now after watching Cal the Kingslayer, who you can subscribe to because he's in the chat as well, who's doing daily Skyrim plays, I kind of want to do Skyrim now.
I really want you and Tom and Randall to get back on the Oregon Trail.
I want to as well.
So y'all need to work that out. And then me and you need to stream something because soon I will be on Christmas vacation. Yo.
Maybe we have something in the pipe to stream while you're on Christmas vacation.
Maybe.
Something else to do with space.
Ooh, space.
Something else to do with a Disney-related property.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Anyway, we've been going on way too long in this conclusion, as usual.
Yeah. We don't know how to end things.
We're really not really good at this, guys. No.
Beatrice, stop eating the tree. Stop eating the tree, cat.
All right, so now that the cat's trying to eat the tree,
that must be our point to go.
We should really go. Bye.